Not all truths seek to be accepted. Some only want to be heard, and that hurts. Have you ever wondered why certain ideas make us so uncomfortable, even when they seem to make perfect sense? Why do some differences between men and women, even though they are evident, become taboo topics? Is it because they're false, or do they make us feel threatened? Today we're going to dive into the mind of a thinker who had the audacity to say what no one wanted to hear, Arthur Schopenhauer. Brace yourself. This video doesn't offer comfort, it offers mirrors. And if it touches something within you, give it a like. This conversation might change the way you exist. Have you ever felt that something is deeply wrong with the truths we were taught? That certain ideas, even when repeated 1,000 times, sound false in the very depths of your chest? They tell us that men and women are equal, but nature, history, and human behavior seem to whisper something else. Something older, more uncomfortable, more truthful. Arthur Schopenhauer didn't shy away from that question. He faced it with the brutal coldness of someone who had already lost their illusions. For him, a woman was not a being guided by reason, but by instinct. Her power didn't come from strength or logic, but from beauty, from emotional influence, from subtle manipulation. Schopenhauer saw love not as a sacred bond between souls, but as a biological trap, a temporary trick of nature to ensure reproduction, not happiness. Sounds cruel, right? But what if it's real? What if everything we were taught about love, romanticism, and equality is just a fragile frame covering a cracked wall? Maybe that's why his ideas still make people uncomfortable, not because they're wrong, but because they demand a rare kind of courage, the courage to abandon the comfort of illusion. This is just the first crack. What comes next will require you to look deep. Are you ready? Schopenhauer's ideas didn't come out of nowhere. They sprouted from an era where women were kept on the margins of intellectual life. They didn't study, they didn't publish, they didn't participate, only existing within the boundaries set by men. But he didn't just see that exclusion as a social mistake. He interpreted it as a reflection of nature. And maybe the most uncomfortable part is that his ideas were also fueled by personal pain. A bitter relationship with his own mother, unfulfilled romantic dreams, silences that never healed. This turned him into a skeptical observer, not a promoter of justice. His focus wasn't on the equality of roles, but on the inequality of essences. Even today, in an era that celebrates equality as a dogma, Schopenhauer still disturbs. And what if the differences between men and women were deeper than just cultural? What if instinct speaks louder than any ideology? From his point of view, the man is driven by ambition. He wants to conquer, leave a legacy, transcend, philosophy, war, invention, art, all to avoid being forgotten. But this condemns him to restlessness. He never rests, never arrives at happiness. It's an interval, never a destination. In contrast, the woman, according to Schopenhauer, seeks survival, comfort, security, stability. She doesn't want to change the world. She wants to adapt to it. While he runs toward the horizon, she builds shelter with what she has now. And maybe that's why he said that women are happier. They don't carry the weight of being monuments. This dichotomy between ambition and security, between projection and presence, shapes not just love, but the very structure of society. The man acts with a sword, the woman with a shadow. For Schopenhauer, the difference between men and women wasn't a matter of justice, but of purpose. While the man dreams of reforming the world, the woman ensures it keeps functioning as it is. That uncomfortable but profound distinction shapes the very essence of human interactions. The man builds walls, the woman learns to cross them without being seen. Schopenhauer believed that female power didn't come from strength or direct dominance, but from something much harder to detect, and, therefore, more effective. Persuasion, charm, emotional leverage. In his view, the man imposes, the woman influences. While he wages wars with swords, she conquers with glances, silences, and precise timing. Women, he said, shape the world by shaping men. They don't compete in the open arenas, but they guide the decisions of those who bleed in them. Power isn't in the one who wears the crown, but in the one who whispers to the king that the crown is getting too heavy. For Schopenhauer, beauty was the most powerful tool of that influence. Fleeting, yes, but devastating in its effectiveness. Allied with emotional intuition, it became a silent weapon capable of anticipating desires, manipulating situations, and redesigning destinies without raising a voice. That power wasn't limited to romance. It infiltrated family structures, political decisions, social dynamics. While men built empires, women shaped the men who built them. And perhaps that's why he said the true throne is invisible. It's in the shadows, where wills are born before orders. Women live in the now, while men die for the while. They seek harmony and security, while men sacrifice health, peace, and even love for a dream that they don't even know exists. That difference shapes everything: desires, affections. For them, what matters is what sustains. For him, what transcends. In love, Schopenhauer saw a theater, not something sacred, a trick of nature dressed as destiny. Attraction, he said, isn't spiritual, it's strategic. Men seek beauty and youth, not for romanticism, but because it shouts fertility. Women seek status and strength, not out of devotion, but because it whispers protection. And both manipulate, almost always without knowing it. He promises stability to gain intimacy. She offers affection to secure permanence. It's an invisible, instinctive, biological pact. When the role is fulfilled, when the child is born or security is established, the passion evaporates. What seemed eternal turns to dust. Love, that altar of modernity, crumbles under the weight of reality. Schopenhauer called that the greatest irony of human affection, a necessary deception, a useful illusion, not made to last, but to function. And once you understand this, romanticism seems like a childish veil over the face of a wild creature. For him, women were essential but dangerous. Outside their domain of emotion, instinct, and immediate survival, qualities useful in the home but disastrous in power. He believed that giving political voice to instinct was to weaken reason, to trade the future for comfort, to exchange vision for sensitivity. And the most unsettling part, the modern world did it. And we still don't know if we'll survive the trade. The emotional calls now dominate politics. Morality has become argument, not consequence. They call it evolution. But did the power balance between the sexes make the world more just? Or did it merely paint new forms of instability with a layer of progress? Even with all the cultural revolutions, the invisible dynamics still operate from the shadows. They still influence us, with gestures, with words, with the silent promise of affection or absence. Women have more autonomy now, but their most primal desires haven't changed. Security, stability, connection, the now. And men continue to carry the curse of eternity. Schopenhauer's ideas may seem outdated, but perhaps that's because we prefer modern fantasies over confronting the raw biology that still pulses beneath our skin. Has society evolved in alignment with human nature? Or have we just built an emotional Tower of Babel where no one understands each other? That's the wound that bleeds, but no one wants to look at it. Culture says we're all equal. Biology whispers, no, we're not. And if that's true, no reform, no speech can erase instinct. Ignoring that doesn't unite us. It disorients us. It makes us strangers to ourselves. In the end, maybe men and women will never fully understand each other, not out of malice, but because they dance to different rhythms in different times, driven by forces that can't always be translated into words. That's not a condemnation. It's a reality. And perhaps the only way to coexist is to accept the difference, even if it makes us uncomfortable, even if it shatters our fairy tales. If this sparked something in you, give it a like. This journey has only just begun. Here beside me, there's a video that shows an even darker side of this truth. See you there in 5 seconds. Not every wound needs to be healed. Some exist just to remind us that we feel. If you've made it this far, it's because you carry something that few do, the courage to face discomfort. You've walked among shadows, crossed the ruins of fragile ideas, and you felt no pain. You observed it. That makes you part of this intimate journey we're building here. A journey that doesn't promise salvation, but does offer clarity. If this sparked something within you, like comment, share. And if you want to keep walking among uncomfortable truths, there's a video waiting for you right here. I'll see you there in 5 seconds.